That night, she dreamed of a door. Not the convent gate. A narrow, curved archway, covered in ivy, with a golden handle warm to the touch. And beyond it, music. Not joy. Not salvation. But something that pulsed like blood, and called like hunger. She woke with her fingers wrapped around the air, reaching. The candle had burned low. The shadows had crept closer. And the Virgin's blackened face seemed to look straight at her. Not in judgment. But in understanding. Outside, the wind had changed. It no longer whispered. It knocked. And in the distance, faint as breath, another bell. Not theirs. Not anymore. The candle's flame leaned once, then bowed into darkness. There was no sound. Just the faint crackle of wax surrendering to cold stone, and the breath of 3 souls buried alive beneath the floorboards of a house that no longer stood. Above them, the storm raged on, indifferent and wild. It tore slates from roofs, uprooted trees older than the village itself, and screamed through the empty bones of Eldwire like some ancient curse come home. But in the cellar, there was only silence. Not peace, never peace, but a silence so thick it seemed to press against their ribs. Emmerich held his sister's hand in the dark. Her fingers were too still, too cold, but he dared not move. Dared not speak. Beside him, their mother sat with her back to the wall, arms wrapped around them both, her breath shallow. He could not see her, but he knew her shape, the outline of her against the stone, the way her body trembled not from fear anymore, but from the weight of holding them together. They had been in the cellar for days. Or weeks. Or years. Time was no longer marked by the sun or the bell, but by the stories his mother told, softly, between coughing fits, when her throat still allowed it. She spoke of meadows that rolled like waves. Of bread warm from the oven. Of a tree near the old chapel that bore pears so sweet they could bring tears. She told of summer rain, of markets full of spices and laughter, of a river that ran clear enough to see the silver-bellied fish. Emmerich listened. He listened like it was scripture. Like each word had weight and warmth. Like it could anchor him to something other than frost and rot. The last story she told was of St. Corwin, the barefoot pilgrim who walked across the spine of the moors with nothing but a staff and a song. Wherever he passed, the land bloomed. It was a miracle, she said. The path behind him turned to green, even in winter. Emmerich did not ask why no one had ever seen such a thing in Eldwire. He simply imagined that if St. Corwin came now, he would pass above them on the snow, feet bare against the ice, and leave behind not flowers, but fire. Just enough to light their way back to the world. But the storm did not pass. Each morning brought only more white against the cellar door. More silence from the village above. No birds. No dogs. Not even the caw of crows. Emmerich's father had not returned. He had gone out days ago, wrapped in every scrap of wool they had, boots laced with rope, a rusted knife at his hip and a sack over his shoulder.